Boy, I should just, you know what? Normally we would do this. We would just cut this out, but we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it so I can be embarrassed for all of you. What is his question? I'm very curious.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It is week 8 already of Tony Talks. We're so excited you guys keep tuning in. We've got some awesome questions today.
Yeah, really
and if you're enjoying Tony Talks, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. It's the first time we've told you, so I'm sure between this week and next we'll get millions and billions of subscribers and likes. Because what's more exciting than Mr. and Mrs. Horton on Tony Talks episode 8? Now, I've got a great story, so let's hear it. And this comes from Jackie, and then of course you've got your 6 questions, and they are good ones. You guys are trying to stump me, but you can't do it. Okay, this comes from Jackie. She says, about 6 years ago, I was told I have high cholesterol, and I was diagnosed with a heart condition called mitral valve prolapse. I was 36 years old. I had no energy, and I felt like my body was falling apart. That's not good. I had recently started running, but wasn't pushing myself to go further with it, even though my husband and I were always gym rats. When I got pregnant with my daughter in 2006, then I got pregnant again with my son a year and a half later. I just stopped working out and used my pregnancy as an excuse to eat whatever I wanted, and I thought I shouldn't work out as it maybe would put my baby in danger.
From the heart condition.
Probably, yeah, and probably her in danger too. Today, I know better than that, she writes. So in 2012, my husband bought me a treadmill, and I slowly started walking and running, and my sister signed me up for a 5K. She's from England. She's for 5K up there. A 5K, and asked me to join her. And I ran it, and I did well, but I felt like I could have definitely done better. That 5K is what I needed to push me. Running was great and helped me lose some weight, but I wanted to build some muscle, tone my body, and strengthen my legs so I could run faster. I had always been interested in doing P90X, but I was a little hesitant because people made it sound like it was impossible. Sean still thinks it seems scary.
I do.
My husband and I went for it and bought P90X3, wise move.
Very smart.
And we stuck with the classic plan and worked out even when we were on vacation. After 90 days, my body had never felt and looked so good. Yippee-yi-yay, Jackie. We had been doing P90X3 for the last 5 years, changing from classic to lean to mass and creating our own. My husband and I had also been doing 22-minute hardcore. They are tough, she writes. And now my husband will only do your workout programs. Your husband is a genius. We are both in our 40s now and still feel like we're in our 20s. What did you say once in one of your workouts? Aging is for idiots. Or aging is for people who aren't willing to put the time and effort into slowing it down. That's the nicer way to say it. But either way. Well, you're right. You're right, which is good. I have since lowered my cholesterol, and my heart is as healthy as it's ever been, despite my prolapse. Thank you for creating P90, which could be X or X2, even could be the actual one called P90, I don't know what. But anyway, which started a whole new world of new fitness programs for me.
That
Yay,
is
Jackie.
Awesome. These stories are so great, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel like this, or have used pregnancy as an excuse, or got off the wagon, which I believe is one of the questions we're going to cover.
Oh, getting off and getting on, and that's a terrible wagon.
The wagon.
Yeah. Getting off and on the wagon. All right, number 1 of 6, ready, go.
Here we go. The first question comes from James D. And
James Dean? I thought he was dead. Back from the dead.
James D. He says, I have been a fan of your programs for many years, and I still religiously follow your workouts daily. I appreciate the incredible honesty that you've shown in some of your recent uploads, and I'm very excited by the new program. We are too, James. I'm only asking this question now as I hope you'll be able to deal with this as honestly as you have with the other things recently. Would you mind talking about steroids, performance-enhancing drugs in your industry? I increasingly wonder at just how many in the sports, entertainment, and fitness industry are using these products, in addition to eating clean and working out. And as a result, whether my fitness goals are totally unrealistic. All the best, James.
Steroids in my industry. Well, I would assume that they're still relatively prevalent, because a lot of athletes want an edge, you know what I mean? And if you're getting your blood tested once in a while and you're not supposed to be taking steroids, that's a bad thing. Then you're banned from the sport forever. But there are a lot of, bodybuilders are still using them, I'm sure. I'm not in that world. I mean, I've seen 1,000 stories about what steroids do to you and how they can help and how they also can create some real issues, liver, kidneys, and things like that. All kinds of bizarre long-term issues.
I've heard mostly of the long-term issues.
Yeah, like people have to get blood transfusions and all kinds of crazy stuff as a result. So, look, this is a general observation based on my opinion. I have never had to mess with that stuff. I was a little bit bigger once, but I'm older now, and I'm dealing with my sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss stuff. So that's the reason why after I got sick, worked with a great team to say, hey, what do we need? We need our branched chain amino acids. We got our HMBs, which is really sort of helps leucine do its job, which is an amino acid. Plus the chromium, plus the vitamin D, chromium, and HMB and BCAAs. That's what I put in the formula, which is, these are natural ingredients that help me, maintain my muscle and stay strong and recover faster. Because I'm all about performance. I'm all about aging gracefully and being as strong and as healthy and flexible as I can. When you're talking about steroids, it's usually, look, football players have taken it, rugby players have taken it. There are other sports where people have taken it. Bodybuilders, it's a known abused substance. And then a lot of people are in denial about it, whatever. And then, they have these long-term problems. It's like with me and the sun. You and I were the two tannest people in the world. And we thought, what's the big deal? We're young, we're going to live forever. And then now, we're
You think nothing's ever going to affect you until it does.
Yeah. So, I would stick to the natural. I would stick to the organic as much as possible. I would stick to whole foods. And, my biggest enhancement is still creatine on occasion and my new supplement line, which seems to be working really well for me. It's out there. People are using it and abusing it. And, in some instances, steroids are very helpful for a lot of people who are coming back from injury or they've got illnesses or, under a doctor's supervision, steroids are a very powerful way for a lot of people to heal based on what they went through. So it's out there, and I've had friends back in the day in my 20s when we were all lifting that were taking them. And I was weird to watch a guy stick a needle in his thigh, with all the stuff that he was doing. And I lost contact with a few of those guys because I'm not a bodybuilder. I never really was. But yeah, man, stick to the natural stuff. I'm telling you, that's the way to go. And a lot of it's about your ego. I want to be big, I want to be strong, I want to attract the opposite sex or whatever it is. I think a good education and a personality is what most women care about, right? You didn't care about my fitness or that. You just wanted a good dude.
Yep.
A good dude who made you laugh.
That was number one.
Number one.
Yeah. Go to comedy classes.
Steroids out, comedy classes in.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
That's my answer.
Yeah. And I don't know what your goals are, if they're unrealistic or not, but like you said, you can definitely look great without the use of steroids.
Yeah, lean and mean and strong and fit and agile. And it's about longevity and health and wellness. That's what it's about, man. So,
thank you, James.
good question,
though. Next one comes from Jeff L. All right. 2 in a row, you don't tell us where you are.
Where are you guys from?
Stop printing these questions.
I know. Yeah, you guys and gals at home, we want to hear. I just want to hear
We just want to know. It's fun.
Argentina. You never know. So.
Okay, so Jeff L. is a 49-year-old male. He says he works out 3 to 5 days a week for the last few years, and he's in good shape. Due to COVID, I've been essentially bedridden for 70 days.
Oh, boy.
The last 60 days is better, but I'm still unable to do much more than walk for 5 minutes, and that's it. Can you share your experience following your illness and give me some advice on how to mentally and physically begin getting back into shape? Love the channel, and P.S. My wife Jennifer and I completed P90X about 9 years ago.
What was his name again?
Jeff.
Jeff. Hey, Jeff, man, I'm so sorry. Sean and I have some friends and people that we know that have, on various levels have had to deal with COVID. And this is really our first COVID question since we've been doing Tony Talks. Mm-hmm. My situation is different. I had a completely different thing. I had a virus. You had a virus. I had shingles in my ear, which gave me Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, and now I still have bilateral vestibular hypofunction. Sean and I did a yoga class today, and I did some balance postures for the first time, and I couldn't do them. Still can't. This is October. It's going to be 3 years in a couple of months, and that's something that I've got that might never improve. And look, I got a slack line in the backyard. I have Bosu balls and things that I stand on and just try to help it out. But it's just part of who I am. It's like a weird form of a kind of a offshoot of PTSD. But I have to deal with it the best I can, and I also deal with fatigue, Epstein-Barr and other things. So, first and foremost, all I can tell you is you got to go to your doctors and say, hey, what's going on? Because you're probably one of those people that are what they call long haulers. You know what I mean? Like maybe, you weren't slammed so bad that you were in the ICU and you are on oxygen and all that kind of thing. But you've got all these things that just don't seem to go away. And all you can do, man, is meditate as much as possible. Do as much yoga as you can fit in. And I know right now you can only go for a 5-minute walk, and that was me. Ask Shauna. Yeah. I walk in the treadmill, wasted me. I couldn't lift weights. I couldn't drive. I mean, I was a wreck. And so you just have to keep moving. You have to keep eating really well. You have to meditate as much as possible, do as much yoga as possible, and listen to your doctor and get yourself a physical therapist. Maybe through your doctor, ask around. They're I don't know how big a city you're in, but they're there. And online, there's great information online, man. But I'll tell you, a lot of people don't realize that the foundation of who you were 9 years ago when you did P90X is still there. You have that intel, you have that experience, you know what to do, and you're going to have to modify like crazy until you get back again. But you will. And look at me. Right, I can't stand on one foot very well, but I can do a whole lot of other things a lot better than I could before I was sick because I understood the importance of eating right and exercising and finding the calm in the storm as much as possible and as often as possible. And so, man, good luck with that. It sounds like you're on the mend, you're getting better. And we don't know what the long-term effects are. The long-term effects for me, will I ever get my balance back? Maybe. But the nerves that burnt out inside my brain take years and years and years to sometimes heal all the way. Sometimes means sometimes they don't. But look, I'm maintaining my sense of humor because that's all I got, man. So do your best, forget the rest, be consistent, figure out what your plan is, stick to your plan, find out what your purpose is, and your purpose is to get as normal as you can, as quick as you can. My guess is, based on what little I know, is you'll probably be just fine, but you just got to stick to doing the right things.
All right. Next is from Mohammed in Philly. See how fun that is to know where he's from?
Philly! Yeah, go Eagles.
That's right. Okay, Mohammed. He says, hey, Tony and Shauna, first of all, I want to thank you for keeping us in check and reminding us every day to do our best even if we fall or slow down. Sometimes it's important to remember that we're not perfect and we all make mistakes. Not every workout will be perfect, but we just need to show up and push play. You made working out fun for me, and I can't wait to share my results once I reach my first milestone. My question is this. Are there any workouts in the original P90X that you would modify or replace knowing what you know now? He says, thank you again, and I can't wait to see you what you have in store for us next. P.S. My brother and I love you. Do your best. Forget the rest.
Muhammad and his brother love me from Philly. P90X is 16 years old from now. Like those dive bomber push-ups, I discovered later that a lot of folks, that isn't good for your shoulders. You know what I mean? There's probably a few moves in plyo that I would take out. You know what I mean? Maybe I wouldn't have made the yoga an hour and a half because most people would skip it because it was an hour and a half. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's your first introduction to yoga. Let's just make it last forever. You know what I mean? So sure, absolutely. Like if I look at the workouts that I did for the next level, for Gaiam, there were some similar moves. There were some classic moves. But, I'm always evolving. I'm always growing. I'm always learning. And but here's the weird thing about P90X. Not to pat myself on the back while I tell you how awesome I am, but people are still doing P90X again and again and again and again because I designed 99.4% of it to avoid boredom, injuries, and plateaus. And so, and that's why people keep going. They go to the gym or they'll do CrossFit. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those things, but they always come back to P90X, especially now during quarantine and during this whole pandemic. More and more people, like, what can I do at home to get myself maximum results, not get bored, not get hurt, and not plateau, And the people are like, oh my God, I forgot how incredible that program was. So the vast majority of it, I wouldn't change. There's probably 8 moves that I would pull out because they weren't as effective as other moves are, or in some people, they might cause an injury. Not in all people, but in some people. And remember, we went through 2 full test groups with P90X, and we changed a lot of things. Now, when it comes to the new program that we're going to be doing very shortly, that's what the beta groups are for. We're doing beta 1 and beta 2, and beta 1, let's say there's a chest and back routine in beta 1. When it finally comes out, it might not look anything like that because we're going to learn a lot of things from you guys and gals that are in the beta group. A lot of the people that are going to, Bobby and Drea, if she can be here, she's in Europe right now. And who else? And Sean Callahan, whoever else is here. Shauna might be in one or two of them as well. And we're going to go, oh yeah, you know what? Let's turn the volume up or turn it down or take that move out. And that was the process with P90X. So that's the reason why P90X, I'd only change maybe 8 total moves. Think about that. 12 workouts, averaging an hour. Average X is just short of perfect. I wouldn't change a thing in that thing. You know what I mean? It's super effective. Some people have some lower back issues with that, but that's partly because the form isn't good or they're going too fast or something. So, yeah, great question.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the next one comes out, after all the different folks that go through it, we're going to learn a lot. So, there you go.
Awesome. Thanks, Mohammed.
Hope I answered that for you, my friend, and say hi to your brother for me. All right. Number 4. We're already on 4. Oh, time flies. What do you got, Mrs. H?
Next one is greetings from Wayne in Melbourne, Australia.
Australia! Put the shrimp on the barbie. That's the worst.
Worst ever.
Right. What's Australian? Should I stop? Should I stop?
With the Australian?
Yeah.
No, I think you should keep going.
Okay.
This is mildly entertaining.
Right. Oh, I can't.
No.
No.
Hello.
Hello? Down under. Down there. Boy, I should just... You know what? Normally we would do this. We would just cut this out, but we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it so I can be embarrassed for all of you. What is his question? I'm very curious. Down under.
Wayne in Melbourne, Australia.
Wine down
Says,
there.
we have spent a lot of time together from P90X to P90X2 to P90X3.
Yes, we have, Wayne.
And you rock.
Thank you, Wayne. Now I don't because of my accent, but I appreciate that.
I quote you all the time. I bet he can do a good Australian accent.
I bet she can quote me with an Australian accent if you want.
Quick one.
Do your best and don't forget the rest. Stop. All right, here we go.
Okay.
I think the dogs are embarrassed for me.
Quick one. You keep telling me to Google Egoscue stretches. I have done this, but have not found what you mean. I've tried a few different spellings, but nothing seems quite right. Grateful if you could just point me in the right direction.
Can you spell Egoscue?
Egoscue.
Egoscue. It's pronounced Egoscue.
Egoscue Clinics, and the founder is Pete Egoscue. And basically, it's an incredible rehab clinic. They take pictures of you and they kind of line
Front,
up your spine
sides,
and they show
back.
you where you're crooked. And then they give you these amazing exercises to get yourself all straightened out and fixed up.
Yeah, it's really. He became really popular with Lee Trevino and a lot of the guys on the tour back when I was in the 70s and I think 60s and 70s and 80s. And so I remember when I went to the Egoscue Clinic here in Santa Monica, California, and it was really interesting, right? I was standing there all straight. I thought I was all that. What it does is, we talked about this in the last week's episode, but most people have these asymmetric bodies. The right shoulder drops, the right knee, left leg straightens, one doesn't, one hip's higher than the other. And so, they put you in these, like one is a wall squat where your feet have to be in a certain place and you put your arms on the wall, you do these butterflies and you think it makes plyometrics look like a nap. These really simple, tiny movements.
Put you in a full flop sweat.
Yeah, so for example, one of them was, the knuckles in. And now, remember, most of this was designed for golfers to help improve their golf swing, especially golfers who get older. Like everybody gets, like that movement, that flow. I mean, look at Tiger Woods. He's redesigned his own golf swing, I don't know, dozens of times. That happens to a lot of folks. You start exercising, and who knows, you start aging. And so Egoscue is powerful. You guys have seen the one that I do where your elbows go all the way back and you bring your elbows together. Like that simple opener. There's another one where you're here and you drop it down. Now for me, when I do this, you see how this right shoulder pops up because I have a torn labrum and all this kind of stuff. So it's an amazing process. And tell him the spelling again.
Egoscue.
There you go.
And there's lots of Egoscue clinics all over, and a lot of those people do YouTube videos just like this.
Yeah. You can get it on YouTube for free. What we ended up doing was we were at the clinic. We would show up weekly for quite a while there, and they gave you a little pamphlet where you could,
They personalize everything.
Everything.
Your stick figure looks like this. And your little feet. It's crazy.
Yeah. So you try to get your stick figure straighter. So yeah, it's a great practice. Great way if you're asymmetric. and you're having issues right side, left side light, or right side strong, left side's weak, Egoscue is a great way to get that fixed.
Right on. Next question is from Rachel in Jefferson, Georgia.
Jefferson, Georgia. Rachel, what do you got, Rach?
All right, Rachel says, I'm part of the P90X Never Dies Facebook group. This question has been posted by myself and others, and I've gotten great feedback from members, but I would love your outlook.
A lot of pressure.
I work out at 4:30 a.m. I'm a mom of two. I work full-time as a speech therapist, and I just wouldn't get it done if I didn't do it first thing.
Good for you.
So what advice do you have to give us early birds about pre- and post-workout nutrition? Pre-workout, not a fan.
She's not a fan.
Sounds like she's not a fan. Putting something in our water to drink during a workout, or should we drink BCAA powders during a workout? Is working out on an empty stomach okay? And what should we do post-workout? Protein shake, if we wrap up 5:30, 6 o'clock breakfast, might be 2 hours away still, and I would love to know what you think, and I know my fellow P90X fans would too.
Now this is not a universal answer for everybody, because everybody's different. Like a lot of people, I know some people who will go on long runs and they'll drink a sip of water and that's all they want. Other people will eat half of a meal and go for a run, which I could never do. But here are the two things that are generally true for most people. Don't do a hard workout on an empty stomach. I mean, no water, no nothing, especially at 4:30 in the morning. Even though you're up at the crack of dawn, you've got to put something in your body, and I'll talk about that in a second. And never do a workout, especially a cardiovascular workout, where you're sweating and moving, it's a heart, lungs, and legs things, with a full stomach. I mean, you're going to cramp, you're going to hurl, it's just hideous. So you have to find the balance between nothing and too much, and whatever works for you, both before and after your workout. Now, Shauna knows, for me, I don't do a full serving of a pre-workout formula. Power Life, my supplement line, it's about to launch its pre-workout, and Shauna and I have been guinea pigs for this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it is
Love it.
unbelievable. A lot of them have too much caffeine, they make you too freaking jittery, and then you crash halfway through the workout. The last thing you want to do is, get all revved up and then bonk before you're finished. Not good. Like, for example, and I'm just going to give you examples. I have a friend of mine, he takes a piece of whole grain, 9-grain, gluten-free bread, one slice, sticks it in the toaster, doesn't burn it, just makes it, crunchy. Takes some almond butter, right on one side, folds it in half, eats it, and then he does that a full 20 minutes to a half an hour before he works out. It's not like, put it in and then go do plyo. You know what I mean? Here's what's important, you need time between what you put in your mouth, whether it's just a little bit or more, depending on whether you're a bodybuilder or you're a aerobics junkie or you're doing yoga or whatever the workout is in P90, X2, X3, 20-minute hardcore, right? But you need time in between, minimum 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're working out at 4:30, and you want to put something in because you're bonking in the middle of your workout at that hour, you're going to have to get up at 4.
Sounds like she's not a fan of pre-workout anything.
Pre-workout anything. All right, well then if you're not, you work out in the morning and you're not bonking, then keep going. But after the workout, and you're going to need some kind of nutrition afterward, because you've just burnt up all those calories, you've exhausted, so the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments and everything else, they need nutrients. And so, typically it's a branched chain amino acid protein formula. You can put blueberries, strawberries, pecans, cashews, whatever you want, ice cubes, almond milk, flaxseed milk, whole, regular skimmed milk, whatever is your thing, but you're going to need something afterward. I don't typically recommend eating a big old meal after a hard workout.
He won't.
I can't. I do not have an appetite for a meal after a workout. I have an appetite for a meal after a workout about an hour after the workout. I need something that's just liquid that replenishes right away. Because you do have a 1 hour, in theory, a 1 hour window to replenish what you just, because think about it. A resistance exercise routine is breaking down muscle tissue, right? That soreness that you feel are muscle tears. And then as the muscles grow, right, as the soreness goes away, those fibers are slightly stronger and larger than they were before you did your workout. Where a cardio routine, right, so there's a difference between fast twitch and slow twitch. Slow twitch is cardio, something that is sustainable over time. All right, you can't do jump knee tucks for half an hour. All right, that is a high intensity hypertrophy type of a move. That's different than a cardio move, which is running up, going for a hike or jogging or those types of things. So different workouts need different pre-workout things. And all I can tell you is you've got to experiment with it. Here's the thing. If you put nothing in your body and you're working out, and that's okay, and then you do a shake afterward, and that seems to work, that works for you. But if you try something else and you feel like you're going to hurl or you start to cramp, then you made a mistake, right? So I wish I could give everybody a universal answer. It really requires experimentation. But the general rule is not right before. Give yourself 20 minutes to a half an hour, whether it's just a little bit or a little bit more. More calories for somebody who's bigger or stronger, who's going to go lift a bunch of weights, and less for somebody who's going to maybe do a Pilates workout. The intensity of the workout, the type of workout, has a lot to do with what you're gonna consume beforehand. Remember, 20 minutes to half an hour. Afterward, hey, if you can eat a regular meal and you can get that down, rock on. But I would just do a shake afterward, a good shake. I recommend Power Life, high impact plant proteins or whey proteins. That's what I do.
All right.
There you go. It's probably more than you needed to know, but there you go. Is this the last one already?
No.
Oh,
we had 4 on the first page. Oh, greetings from Melbourne. Well, that was a pretty quick one. Well, I thought it was, but anyways, this can be the last one.
It can be?
It can be.
Is this number 6?
This is number 6.
Well, then it is the last one.
It is the last
Can it be? It will be.
one. It will be.
It will be and it can
That's right.
be. It's
And our next one will be next week.
Okay, there is no
Okay.
number 7.
Tyler from Indiana says, "Hi Tony, I've been a big fan since 2016.
Thank you.
When my wife and I started P90X3. We finished the program including the extra month and lost about 40 pounds each. By the end of 2016, we had lost a combined almost 150 pounds.
What is happening?
You guys rock. Since then, college, graduation, several moves, career changes, and we've pretty much gotten back to where we started."
Oh,
I know.
sad time.
I know we can do it, but we have zero motivation to do it. I've been watching your Facebook videos and posts, and you were the one who inspired me to change my life before. I'm currently 26 with no kids, and I want to turn things around for my kids before I even have them. So please help. How can I remotivate myself?
It's interesting. Week after week after week, we get these motivation, inspiration questions, and I've answered this umpteen trillion times. But the interesting thing is, I think I evolve in my way of answering it, right? I always say purpose, plan, and accountability, right? Those are sort of the big 3. I tell you to go out and buy my book, The Big Picture, and the Big Picture talks about how to get into this lifestyle, sustain this lifestyle, because this lifestyle is more about is much more than just survival, which is where most people are. And it's really about thriving. So if you want to thrive, you got to stick to it. But for example, I can give you all that information. I can tell you, all right, your purpose should not be about aesthetics and ego and looking good and tape measures and how much you weigh on the scale and blah, blah, blah. We really need to focus on the quality of today. That I can tell you that, that's true. That's the reason why we work out, because, there's a lot of stress in life, and so why not alleviate that, especially during a pandemic, right? So that's my purpose is to look and feel 10, 15, 20 years younger than I am. All right? And then I could also say, what's my plan? Well, I know exactly what I'm going to do 7 days a week, and sometimes I could take a day off. And my days off are either Mondays and Fridays. And I have it all written down. I used to write it down. I don't need to anymore because it's locked in. And then when it comes to accountability, of course, who am I going to do it with? Like this gal in this earlier question, I get up at 4:30 and work out and do one of your programs. Like, holy smokes, does she do that by herself in the dark?
Crazy.
That's incredibly, I don't know what inspires and motivates her. And so
She should put your comments down there, would you?
So I could tell you all that stuff. I said all that stuff a million times. So here's how I want to say it today, which might make a difference. And here's the example I'm going to make. Let's say, for example, your car broke down and there was no such thing as a mechanic, and you needed that car. And you needed that car to get from here to there and everywhere else, to school, work, grocery store, whatever it is, right? And all those things were 20 miles away. You could either walk back and forth to wherever you needed to go, or you're going to have to figure out how to get that car to work. Seems daunting, right? But this is really about your survival. You're learning how to, I have to go to work. I have to feed my family. I've got to do these things. And my only form of transportation is this automobile. And ain't nobody but me is going to fix it. So you're going to have to go on the interweb, and you're going to have to Google a bunch of stuff, and you're going to have to figure that out. And then you're going to have to go on the interweb, and you're going to have to call and get parts. Like, okay, I'd have to rebuild my transmission. That's going to be a lot of, well, maybe it's just a solenoid or something. Who knows what it is? Or it's a spark plug. I haven't been under the hood of a car in a long time, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, right now, you're not motivated enough because you don't have enough information to make this part of who you are forever, right? And so the reason why, and I'm not making this a plug about our next program, but you know, with P90X, X2, X3, 22-minute hardcore, you have the tools, you know what to do, you know they work. It's not like I'm selling you some silly machine that ends up at the bottom of your driveway at a garage sale after 6 months. I'm telling you that you need to do these sequence of exercises on these days. This is how long it takes. You take your pictures, you eat this food, and you're gonna improve. Most people don't even get to the 90 days. We've sold millions of copies, but only hundreds of thousands of people have actually done it all the way through. So what does that tell you? That people don't have enough information. They don't have, the information allows you to be more inspired and more motivated, right? So the big picture is one source. Buying that book, the reason why I wrote that, it's autobiographical too, but it tells you the story of how I went from a weak, frail, frightened little kid with a speech impediment to the person I am today. There's no reason on God's earth I should be this pretty fit 62-year-old. It's only because I kept doing personal development and trial and error and going to yoga classes and Pilates classes and joining 4 different gyms and just taking in more information, you know what I mean? And so that information comes from Tony Horton Life. You go to my website, or you keep checking in on Tony Talks, or you check out the feed of the week, or you're just kind of keeping an eye on me. But motivation comes from having that information that you don't have enough of right now, and you're gonna. I'm a source. There are other sources. It's the car is broken, and you need to figure it out so that you can not only survive but thrive. Because that's what this is about. This is about thriving. And like if you look at the demographics of people who follow me and do my programs, it falls off like a rock at 55 years old. I have from 55 and up. I have about 37 fans. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating to make a point. But my fans are younger, more ambitious, people have more energy, 17 to 50. That's my wheelhouse. And I wish there were more people, more baby boomers, that were taking care of themselves, because they have no idea how it can change their life. And if you don't get this in order and you don't figure this out, then you're going to look back at where you were and think, wow, I'll never be able to do that again. And boy, those were the good old days. And
And you're 26 and you have no kids, which means you've got time to do it now.
Yeah.
More time than you will once you have kids. So there's no time like the present. And if it was me and my husband, and maybe he wasn't having trouble with motivation, I'd commit to 15 minutes a day. Because after that 15-minute mark, things change. And if you still feel like working out, keep going. And if you don't, say, well, we did our 15 minutes.
Yeah, and planning it's too. I mean, I know I kind of grazed over all that stuff, but plan what you're going to do and what time you're going to do it. I mean, write it. I mean, I say this all the time, and I'm going to repeat this again. And maybe you haven't got this intel, assuming earlier that maybe you had. But you get a good old-fashioned wall calendar, and you write down all the workouts on the wall calendar, and then you hang a red magic marker on it, and then you just do them. You know how you stay motivated? You got to get 22 workouts a month. Minimum. 25 is ideal. You don't need to do 30. That's insane, right? I mean, you'll get burnt out or you're overtrained. But just get your 22 in a month, and you got to do that over and over and over and over until you're 100. You know what I mean? That's it. I wish I could make it easier. I wish I could come up with some sort of miracle answer here to help you. More information. Figure out why you're doing this. Make it as powerful as possible. Have a plan and find other people to do it with to help you be accountable. She and I help each other. I have groups of people who still, even during a pandemic, we're wearing masks, we've got the fans on, the air conditioning, all the windows open. We find solutions, man. You're stuck in the problem right now. Get out of the problem and go find solutions and go do it. Just do it. All right? Just bring it. Just do it. Get busy. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Or I will come to your home and I will show you a thing or two. Well, there it is. There's 6 awesome questions this
That's
week.
it.
You keep them coming. We can't thank you enough. More great stories. This one was really amazing from Jackie. Jackie, thank you so very much. Thank you for sharing that, because I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to that story. And I hope I, answer not only these 6 questions for the individuals that asked, but also other people like, oh, wow, I had no idea. So,
That's right. Yeah, and if you guys have answers or similar problems, make sure you leave your comments below too, because we do read through those, and some of the comments are really great, and some of them are super supportive, so we appreciate you guys supporting each other too.
Yeah. And don't forget, subscribe and like Mr. and Mrs. H. So far, we're getting some great feedback, and these questions are really, really, and one more thing I want to add before we say goodbye. Don't be afraid to push the envelope when it comes to asking, unusual questions. A lot of them are motivation, inspiration, diet, those types of things. But if think outside of the box and come up with some other stuff. We'll touch on all of it.
The more zany it is, the more likely it's going to show up
Make it
here.
zany. If your questions are zany, I'll be zany. All right, Mrs. H.
All right, that's it.
Good doink.
We did another one.
We did another one. See you next week, episode 9. Whoa. Tony Horton and
Shaw Horton.
peace.